Fox Sports.
We are the Fourth. We are Florida.
In Miami tonight, the St. Louis Cardinals and the Miami Marlins finish off a three-game series. It's been all Cardinals so far. St. Louis has the best record in baseball. Marlins Park, come on in. Derek Dietrich and the other Marlins trying to give some help to Giancarlo Stanton, while Jason Hayward, who went deep last night, and the Cardinals have stayed hot. Are you ready? Here we go. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. In the first two games of this series, Cardinals have shown why they're the best team in baseball record-wise, despite the Marlins getting off to quick starts in both games, courtesy of Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah, there's a saying, if you want to improve and get to another level, you have to beat the best. And I think the Marlins know they're playing the best in the St. Louis Cardinals. Tonight's a good time to start.
Marlins have their best starter on the mound. And that's Dan Herron, and not a lot of people, I think, thought that would be the case in spring training.
Yeah, I don't think so, Rich. The 34-year-old veteran actually was a second-round pick of the Cardinals back in 2001. His 7 starts here at Marlins Park, a 3-1 record and an ERA at 2.32. He has been, without question, the most consistent Marlins starter all year. 14 starts. He's going to do what he's done his entire career. He's going to have 30 or more starts. He's going to win 10 to 15 ball games, and he might throw 200 innings this year.
And he's going up a guy who I think also flies under the radar, and that's Lance Lynn of the Cardinals.
Yeah, Lance Lynn's a guy, first of all, he's coming off the DL. He had a little forearm problem, but here's a guy, 3 straight years he's won 15 or more games. They'll be careful with the pitch count tonight, but he's also a pitcher who will give you 80 to 90% fastballs.
Last night, the St. Louis Cardinals hit a couple of home runs and beat the Marlins despite another Giancarlo Stanton home run. When we get back, we'll talk about Giancarlo. Stanton on a nice run right now, but he needs help. Who will step up? Any volunteers? Big G needs it. Preston Wilson is in the house, along with Craig Minervini.
Hey, we're happy to have him back. You're right, Rich Waltz. Thank you very much. Good evening again, everybody. The Marlins love the production from Giancarlo Stanton. Keep on coming. They just would like to see a little help from some of the other guys, and of course they're trying, and hopefully it'll start clicking for Miami.
Well, they need a little help. I'm starting to see way too many guys in this lineup start to hang their heads about this ballpark. But one person that doesn't worry about this ballpark is Giancarlo Stanton. You see that hanging breaking ball that Martinez threw? It still hasn't landed. That ball was hit about 480 plus feet. You're supposed to be safe at the bow tie bar. You're not. And then this one, off the lefty, line drive, no face guard, into the shrubbery up above the center field wall. Got to be like 450 because that 418 is not dead away center.
Yeah.
Look at these numbers, Craig. Of the Marlins home runs, he's hit 44.3%. Of their RBIs, he's driven in almost 26% of their RBIs. That's a major league leader, and that just goes to show you he needs some help right now.
So let's pick out, Preston, somebody else in the lineup tonight who's going. I'm going to go with Derek Dietrich tonight, swinging a nice left-handed bat as one of the guys who's going to spark the fish, other than who you'd think.
I'm going to go with Christian Yelich tonight.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Christian Yelich. I like the matchup. He has the bat speed to hit off the left Lance Lynn today. But more than that, I think they're going to be forced to pitch to him before they get to Giancarlo Stanton, and that's going to be the difference.
All right, sounds good. There he is, Christian Yelich, be playing the left field, batting third in the lineup for Miami tonight. So we're ready for the series finale. The St. Louis Cardinals are looking for the sweep. The Marlins looking to answer before the Dodgers come calling tomorrow night. The finale coming up. We'll see you in the postgame, everybody. Enjoy it tonight.
Florida Coast Equipment, Florida's largest Kubota dealer. Visit us at FloridaCoastEQ.com. And by Auto Nation. Save on over 70,000 vehicles now. Visit AutoNation.com. Cardinals and Marlins. First two games have gone the Cardinal way. A one-run win on Tuesday night, 6-1 last night. And their lineup tonight, as presented by their skipper, Mike Matheny, brought to you by JM Lexus. Colton Wong, big homer last night. Matt Carpenter, the All-Star. Mark Reynolds, powerful bat. Jason Hayward homered last night as well. Yadier Molina is hot right now. John Jay's in center. Randall Grichuk is in left. Pete Kozma is at short. And Lance Lynn is in the 9 spot.
We've talked so much, Rich, of the consistency of Dan Herron, the 34-year-old veteran. And we've mentioned that he was drafted by the Cardinals back in '01. And he's coming off a loss, but another solid start. He was beaten in Cincinnati 5-0, but 6 1/3 solid innings. Gave up 1 home run in that game, a solo shot to Marlon Byrd.
First pitch swinging, Colton Wong sends it skyward. Derek Dietrich moves about 3 feet to his left and makes the catch. And that was easy. Dan Herron gets Colton Wong, Matt Carpenter, and Mark Reynolds to follow. Here's the defense for the Fish.
Boy, we've seen some nice plays. There's the outfield. Defense brought to you by BMW. Yelich, Ozuna, Stanton. Derek Dietrich, you know he's at third. Echeverria, D. Gordon up the middle. Justin Bohr in the lineup at first base. JT Real Muto behind the plate.
Matt Carpenter, who got the first game off, was 1 for 4 last night, an RBI hit. And Carpenter takes a strike from a former Cardinal long ago in Dan Herron.
Carpenter taking that pitch all the way, given the fact that Wong swung at the first pitch.
The Cardinals last night showing why they are the best team in baseball record-wise. 23 games over 500 without 2 enormous bats in Matt Adams and Matt Holliday. Some timely home runs, outstanding starting and relief pitching.
As you watch, and as Mike Matheny watches Dan Herron, you're not going to see many pitches that are straight. See cutters, see the curve, you'll see the split. Tried to spot that fastball right there in the outside corner, and he hit his mark.
Incredible control. Just 18 walks, and this is his 15th start. He has been touched by the long ball, and obviously the Cardinals had some big ones last night. But of the 14 homers he's given up, 10 have been solo shots. And the Cardinal lineup is dotted with guys that can go deep, even the top of their order. Wong hit his 9th last night. Carpenter's hit 8. A swing and a miss, and Herron, 82 miles an hour, a little off-speed piece right on the outside part, elevated it, and Carpenter missed it.
It's one of those all of a sudden borderline, and at the last minute Carpenter felt, well, I better swing, I don't want to get called out, and he just couldn't get to that pitch, and it was a ball.
With the old school red Shane Dean socks on, here is Mark Reynolds. That's how the Cardinals looked, right? The Gas House Gang. That's a sweet look.
That's the Stan Musial, Ken Boyer look. Julian Javier.
Joe Torre.
I think Roger Maris had that look as well as a Cardinal.
Counts 0-2. Reynolds in last night's ball game was in the cleanup spot. He was 0 for 3. Dan Herron, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the party. A 1-2-3 first for Herron. Here come the Fish. Thursday night. First team of this 3-team homestand. Dodgers and then Giants. For the Marlins, trying to get a win. And this is game 3 of the series against the Cardinals. Jam Lexus brings you the lineup. D. Gordon, top spot at 352. Derek Dietrich hits second. Christian Yelich, who had a night off last night, back in there. Giancarlo Stanton in the cleanup spot. Justin Bour slotted behind Stanton. Marcelo Zuna, Adeiny Echeverria. JT Realmuto is in the 8th spot. Dan Herron hits 9th. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is Lance Lynn. Gordon runs up, takes a strike.
Yeah, this 28-year-old right-hander will feature a lot of fastballs. He'll do what we see Henderson Alvarez do. You'll see fastballs 94, 95, then you'll see 88, 89. And not really a change-up. He just kind of chokes the grip on the fastball. So a lot of that from Lance Lynn, who's done it very successfully over the last few years.
D. Gordon's hitting 6 straight. A hit in each game of the series. While the hits haven't been coming in bunches as they had earlier, he's still having a nice month. He's still hitting 352.
Well, and he comes into the game just a point behind Paul Goldschmidt, who's at 353.
Gordon out to center. John Jay started back. And now Jay comes in and makes the catch. All right, defense for the Cardinals, and one little swap at shortstop.
Yeah, we'll check on that defense. BMW bringing you the defense. Grichuk, John Jay, Jason Hayward in that outfield. No Peralta at short. Pete Kozma gets the start at short. Carpenter and Reynolds at the corners. Wong's the second baseman. And yeah, that guy Yadier Molina behind the plate.
Now Dietrich. And he takes the strike. With Jaime Garcia on the mound in last night's ball game, Dietrich had a pinch hitting appearance and had a base hit.
D. Gordon in that last at bat. Slipping coming out of the batter's box. Hope he's all right.
Huh. Tough to tell if that was an ankle. Looked like that back leg kind of gave just a little bit, wavered just a bit.
Earlier this year, we saw him, remember, coming out of the box, slipping and tripping a little bit up the line.
Mike Kozak, one of the Marlins trainers, with him. Dietrich swings and misses. And Lance Lynn gets the first 2 outs of the first inning. And that'll bring up Christian Yelich.
The good news is that D appears all right.
The bad news is that Lance Lynn appears all right as well. And here's a guy that has had the last couple of weeks out of uniform on the disabled list. His last start was June 7th in Los Angeles. A little bit of a forearm strain, but they've started him back up before the month ends. He's looking for win number 5 on the season. What you got on Lance Lynn?
We talked a little bit about what he has. Heaters galore. Lots of fastballs ranging from 88 to 93. Sinks it, cuts it. He really works the plate. In and out, up and down. You mentioned the forearm strain. He also battled a hip flexor strain in spring training. He didn't really have a consistent, complete spring.
Yelich rolls it to first. Reynolds hits Lynn in stride, and that's in time to get to Yelich. And the Marlins are down in order in the first.
por West Kendall Toyota.
In Miami tonight, scoreless ball game, Cardinals and Marlins. They've got Dan Herron and Lance Lynn. And Jason Hayward climbs in. A late scratch for the Cardinals. Johnny Peralta, the shortstop, that takes away a pretty potent bat in the middle of the lineup. Peralta 11 homers, driven in 40. Hayward last night had a big blow, and that was late, the 3-run homer in the 7th against Matt Latos.
Yeah, this potent bat still in the lineup.
Justin Bohr towards the dugout, makes the catch. Hayward out, number 1. Yadier Molina, John Jay also coming up for the Cardinals.
So the Cardinals have back-to-back hitters that are working on pretty good streaks. Hayward's 7-game streak. Molina got an infield base hit his last at bat last night to extend his to 9 games.
Dan Herron got to the Cardinals to start his career. Was there for parts of 2 seasons.
Slow curveball.
And then he was traded in 2004 between the 04 and 05 seasons to Oakland in the Mark Mulder deal.
I'm just thinking, if you're a hitter and you're facing Dan Herron, it's like Tom Hanks said, he's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
That was Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump. Well, played by Tom Hanks.
Here's the 0-2. That's close, but out, and it's 1-2.
You might get this. You might look for that. Then you'll get a little of this. And then you hope you don't get the one with the cherry stuff on the inside.
You'd also hope that high school coaches, nice, I like that. High school coaches or college coaches, minor league pitching instructors would pop in a video with Herron throwing, show their student or their player his career numbers, and say, you know what, you don't have to throw 95 to win a bunch of games in the big leagues. Yadier Molina is out. Always a pleasure to be on the American Forces Network. To all of you who are watching, thank you for all that you do. Our United States Armed Forces serving around the world, ships at sea as well. Tonight, you're taking a look at the Miami Marlins and the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals have the best record in baseball, and they are doing it without 3 of their top players. If you want to start in their rotation, Adam Wainwright, their ace, is out for the year. Matt Holliday is out. They hope to have him back in a couple of weeks. Big first baseman Matt Adams is probably out for the year. But the Cardinals just keep winning. Then you've got the Miami Marlins, a young team with probably the most feared slugger in all of baseball. Giancarlo Stanton has homered in both games of this series, and he leads the majors with 27 homers. So there you go. For you on AFN, that's your little snapshot. Glad you're with us. And guess what? You get to see Giancarlo Stanton swing the bat. He leads it off for the Marlins in a scoreless game with the Cardinals. scoreless ball game, Cardinals and Marlins. Giancarlo Stanton, the month of June. Remember, he told us he didn't feel comfortable in April and May, finally in June. And look at the damage he's done this month. He's hit a pair of home runs in his first at bat in both games. And he went after the first pitch and hit it hard 3 times last night.
Yeah, he had a unique night. He also led off the inning, all 4 plate appearances last night. You don't want to see that. And that's why we talk about the supporting cast. In a perfect world, that supporting cast doing a little better in front and behind Giancarlo, it's a different story.
Avid sports fan Huey Lewis will tell you there ain't no living in a perfect world, especially for the Fish right now, trying to find some spark in their lineup. The 2-1. Broken bat, look out. That bat flying into the seats. The ball out to short. Kozma throws to first, and let's hope everybody's all right. That's not only the bat, but it's got the handle sheared off. There are sharp edges. Watch this. Oh, goodness.
That is a sharp weapon hurling into the seats. You can see Stanton, after he hits the ball, he kind of stands and looks at what he has left in his hand. Look at the end of that bat.
And look at the fans in the shot. This is obviously in super slow motion. Their time, their reaction time, I mean, it looks like, hey, it's slow motion. They should be able to get out of the way, but they don't have a lot of time. Oh, thankfully, just missed that gentleman and just missed the youngster by about a foot. Justin Bour bounces it to third, and he's thrown out. I've said it before, I'm a big fan of the netting that stretches from the backstop down the lines. If it's up 10 feet, it stops that bat.
And I think your point makes so much sense, because it's not going to hinder a fan's view, because the fans behind home plate, who are paying a good price for those seats, they have that netting in front of them.
Here's Marcell Ozuna, and a fastball for a strike from Lance Lynn. Ozuna, a double and 3 hits in this series. Lance Lynn thought he had a strikeout, threw a pretty good pitch. Let's take a look.
Not a whole lot of guys just off the plate have seen Lynn, and those that have, not great numbers. D. Gordon's 1 for 10 now. Stanton's 1 for 11 against Lance Lynn. Yelich 1 for 4. Ozuna's 1 for 8. So he just tries to paint inside out.
Almost the exact same spot and just off the edge. Lynn wanted both pitches and reacted thusly when he didn't get them. He's a big man, 28-year-old, 6'5", about 255, 260. Ozuna fouls it back. He's out of Brownsburg, Indiana. And looks like the youngster has a souvenir. I would hope he'd be able to trade that in for one that's in one piece.
Maybe a BP bat.
Something that's not as jagged like that, so he can actually take it out and swing it.
Yeah. Thumbs up.
All right.
Thumbs up from here, too.
Swing and a miss. Lance Lynn strikes out Marcell Ozuna. Lynn looks sharp. Herron looks sharp. Thankfully, the youngsters got himself a souvenir. Cast presented by the Authority. The Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins. Well, both starters are on their game tonight. Randall Grichuk. It's a breaking ball in the Cardinal third. Grichuk, Pete Kozma, Lance Lynn. Hit hard on a hop. Dietrich across the diamond in time. Dietrich has been solid wherever the Marlins have put him on the infield, which is a good sign. Tomorrow, 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup continues, and it's win or go home. China and Team USA in the quarterfinals. 7 Eastern on your local Fox station. Catch the whole tournament streaming live on Fox Sports Go. That is not a friendly, Tommy Hutt. You have some soccer in your family.
Yeah, not a friendly at all. That's serious. That's serious stuff. Pete Kozma, I haven't seen him in this series. Got the call to play shortstop tonight. Always been a guy with a terrific glove. He's one of those guys you can say, well, he's been able to stay in the big leagues because of his glove.
Kozma in there. Late scratch. Johnny Peralta. It sounded like it hit him, and it did. So Kozma hit. That's the first base runner of the night for either team.
Just nicked the jersey up there by the shoulder.
Lance Lynn shortening the bunt, takes a strike. Cardinals might be the best in baseball at drafting and developing starting pitching. Lynn sets it down, and Herron picks it up. And in both Lynn and Herron, you've got guys that were top draft picks by the organization. Lynn in 2008, Herron back in 2001. Herron was a second-round pick. Lynn was a first-round pick. Herron got to the big leagues. The Cardinals wanted to add a veteran in Mark Mulder. And Herron would turn out to be maybe a better pitcher than many thought, because he hadn't had a lot of success in the 2 years with the Cardinals. Colton Wong up there now. But once he got to Oakland, things really took off for him. Wong drives that right center. It's deep and it's off the wall. Scoring easily is Kozma, and Colton Wong strikes again. 15th double for the second baseman out of Hilo, Hawaii.
Well, the good news is it's the first time in this series the Cardinals have struck first. Pitch kind of drifted out over the middle of the plate. You mentioned his first AB. Colton Wong, second baseman, has a little pop. He has 9 home runs, and he just missed one here off that right center field wall.
Matt Carpenter now.
And I guarantee you the thing that Dan Herron's thinking about right now is hitting Pete Kozma, who came into that at bat hitting .093.
Carpenter takes outside. Carpenter an all-star the last 2 seasons. Outside corner, and the leading vote getter right now at third base. It's a pretty good third baseman in the Central. We've got Carpenter, the Todd father, Todd Frazier. 1-2. That is strike 3 called. Mark Carlson rings up Matt Carpenter, but the Cardinals on the board. It's 1-0.
The SpongeBob SquarePants, SpongeBob SquarePants, SpongeBob SquarePants.
Why do we always laugh?
Don't miss Nickelodeon Night featuring SpongeBob SquarePants, Friday, June 26th. It's coming up tomorrow night. Dodgers and Marlins. Purchase the SpongeBob SquarePants package at Marlins.com. Special events. Get a ticket, Nickelodeon gift item, and more. Fireworks show tomorrow night. Barracuda Networks brings that to you. Marlins.com/special events. You buy that special SpongeBob SquarePants package, and you're in. You get all the cool stuff, and you can sing the theme. That one fouled back. Lance Lynn has a 1-0 lead. Danny Echeverria trying to get aboard. Bottom third of the order for the Fish. JT Realmuto, Dan Herron to follow. There's a bunt. Remember, that's Molina, and he will throw it down the right field line. Echeverria left turn on his way to second. It's going to be a hit and a throwing error. A rare one from Yadier Molina.
Well, Molina did everything possible on that nifty bunt from Echeverria. Good job, good thinking on his part. Molina's able to get to it, but as he whirls and throws, it's going to be a bang-bang play. The throw's offline. Reynolds can't get it, and Etch goes to second on the throwing error.
Mike Matheny wants to know if the runner interfered with the throw.
Now, see, to me, and he's a catcher, he knows a lot more about that position than I do. That, to me, applies more if it's more right up the line. Molina fielded that ball out in front of the plate. It's a different story. Whether or not you're inside that line, it's a judgment call on the umpire's part. And I hope he's not persuaded by Matheny.
Well, the judgment is, did Molina have a lane or an area to throw the ball?
He's right on the line. He is right on the line. As a bad throw, it made no difference where Echeverria was running. And I'm glad clearer heads prevailed.
Here's Real Muto now. And Trevria, the runner, at second. One of the issues Miami has had, aside from giving help to Giancarlo Stanton, is situational hitting, getting guys over, getting them in. Here it's a little tricky because you'd like Real Muto to try to knock him in. You've got Dan Herron up next, the pitcher.
Yeah, this is a different situation. Would you like him to move the runner to third? Well, yeah, if you had somebody else hitting behind him.
Tapper to third. Carpenter across the diamond in time to get Real Muto.
But Rich, it's been a real struggle for the Marlins since that 12-run outburst against the Yankees. Since that game, the Marlins in the last 7 games have scored 16 runs. Runners in scoring position. That's overall. In the last 7 games, the Marlins, with that ground ball out, are 6 for 48. That's about a 120 average with runners in scoring position. So there is one place to really pinpoint some of the struggles the ball club has had.
Now Herron faces Lynn. Herron, a good hitter in college, and by all measures, the measurements you use for pitchers that hit, Herron is a good hitting pitcher. A career average of over 200. Has hit a couple of homers in his major league career.
Yeah, the 2 Marlins pitchers that swing the bat really well, Matt Latos and Dan Herron.
Count 2-1. And Lynn catches a corner. It's 2-2. Colton Wong with an RBI double to get the Cardinals started. Gone full now on Herron.
Yeah, Dan Herron's made Lynn throw a number of pitches. Marlins have never beaten Lance Lynn. He's 3-0 against them. 5 games, 3 starts.
That's out, and Herron walks. And that brings up D. Gordon. First and second. 1 out. And certainly a tough guy to double up with his speed. Gordon flied to center his first time up, and remember, kind of stumbled out of the box, limped a bit, was attended to by a trainer in the dugout. Looks at bunting, and Carpenter inching in at third. This is the last at bat.
Looks like that back ankle right there kind of turns a little bit.
Gordon sends that one down the third baseline, foul.
Hey, while we have a minute, how about our congratulations to the University of Virginia, College World Series champions. And also a special congrats to a youngster up in Palm Beach Gardens High School, freshman, Pavin Smith, first baseman with Virginia, had a couple of hits in that game last night against Vanderbilt. One of them a 2-run homer, the other an RBI single.
Another pop-up. And this one stays in play. Carpenter makes the catch. Olin gets the second out, and up comes Derek Dietrich. That was a very entertaining College World Series.
Yeah, it was. The Cavs had to come back and win the second 2 game. They lost the first game to Vanderbilt. So a 4-2 win last night in Omaha.
Dietrich now. Lynn struck him out back in the first. It's down low. Mark Reynolds probably had a pretty good time last night watching that ball game.
David Price did. He was at the game. A Vandy alum.
Dietrich swings and misses. It's 1-1. Another tip of the cap, Tommy, to our T-Mobile game changer. How about the Muck Dogs last night? A perfect game. Combined perfect game and a 1-0 win over these Scrappers. Look at that.
I had Castellanos in my fantasy team, too.
And it took only 2 hours. Molina out to talk with Lance Lynn. And everyone with the Cardinal infield is in there except for Reynolds. Counts 1-1 to Dietrich. We talked about the intangibles of Yadier Molina, and for Mike Matheny, having an assistant pitching coach who can go out there whenever he pleases. And that's essentially what Molina is. Derek Lilliquist, the fine pitching coach for the Cardinals, but having Molina as a resource, the ability to go out there and straighten things out without having to burn a visit, pretty handy. 94-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike.
He's like an assistant pitching coach, but he's also an assistant everything coach. The way he kind of keeps track of everything in the infield.
Dietrich busted bat, and it's caught by Wong. In shallow right, Colton Wong runs it down, and Miami leaves a pair, trails at 1-0.
bat there for Derek Dietrich, trying to knock in the Marlins' first run. But what about playing third base? This is his 8th start tonight as a Marlins third baseman. As you know, in spring training, worked around the infield, all the positions, in particular third, second, and first. And Dietrich was telling me, played some third base in high school and college, played for a USA team that won a medal in Europe over at third. The biggest difference, he said, is just reaction time. One of the things the Marlins do to work on that, they have Coach Pat Shine in the batter's box, and they'll just throw him some soft tosses, let him hit it over there, and see the ball off the bat. Now, things you got to work on, communication. You see Dietrich here in Echeverria. The other day, Dietrich came to his left, and it nicked off his glove, and afterward, Perry Hill got him together and said, you know, you got Etch over there. Let him take those kind of balls. Etch, you call it, which he did on that play. Last night, though, Etch did not call that play. And what Perry Hill told Adaney is, listen, if you're going to call it once, you got to call it all the time in those scenarios. Otherwise, you're both going to be wishy-washy, and maybe you don't get the out anyway. But they're going to work on that communication. One thing Perry Hill told me about third base for Dietrich, slow the game down. He said the speed of the game is what it is. If it hits right to you, fundamentals, you're going to get the guy out, or not if you go way over to your left. But slow it down. That's when you have your most success. And Perry says first base may be his best spot. And we might see him there, too. Guys?
You know, Craig, it's, talking about Perry Hill and slow it down, I can remember his first year working with Adaney Echeverria. And that was one of the things Perry talked about. We've got to get him to slow the game down. One of the things he talked about with D. Gordon in spring training this year. Gordon going from shortstop to second base last year. And for Perry, it was, hey, he's learning how to slow the game down. Gordon has just made extraordinary improvements at second base. I mean, he could win a Gold Glove this year. He should win a Gold Glove the way he's played it at second base. I mean, his run saved, he continues to lead all second basemen. Last I checked, he's third among all position players. You see the infield errors, just 17 by the Marlins this year.
Well, D. Gordon's made just 2, Echeverria only 4.
Aaron strikes out Mark Reynolds.
How about the strikeout numbers of Dan Herron tonight? That was strikeout number 5.
There was a time in Herron's career, back when he was a starter in the All-Star game, a 3-time All-Star, a guy that was in a Cy Young race, when he had just a nasty split that he threw hard, the bottom dropped out. Chuck Hernandez, who warmed him up for one of those All-Star games, talked about what Herron was like and how he's just made all the adjustments along the way as he's grown older in his major league career. AT&T U-verse rewind. Jason Hayward, a couple big home runs.
Well, notice that pitch off Urania out over the plate and up a little bit. That one up, middle of the plate. And you have a hot hitter, which Hayward is. 7-game hitting streak, and he's hit 4 home runs during that time.
And that one is blistered to right. It really is, for the Cardinals, next man up. Adams out, Holiday out. Molina and Hayward are hot. Of course, Peralta's out tonight. We assume he's available to pinch hit.
Think about those two guys that you mentioned, Holiday and Adams. When they have those guys in their lineup, they have, and Peralta, he's not playing tonight, they have good balance. Because you've got Carpenter and Adams are the left-handed bats, Hayward the left-hander, and then you have Holiday, you have Molina, you have Peralta if he's in there.
Dietrich, backhand, nice catch and turn. Gordon has a low throw, bore after it. Molina hustling to second, and he'll get there. Good hustle by Molina. That was a very difficult play by D. Gordon. Now he's going to get tagged for an error on this.
Yeah, he got a low throw from Derek Dietrich. If that throw is belt high, it's a lot easier double play. Dietrich with the pick, but then the throw is low, and as D. Gordon comes across the bag, it's hard to make that turn because of where that throw was. And you're right, unfortunately, he is charged with an error, but it all started with that low throw.
John Jay swings and misses. John Jay last night hit the ball extremely hard 3 times. He lined out to left. He lined out to D. Gordon. He lined out to first.
Well, he's just starting to feel healthy. Get wrist tendonitis. Spent some time on the DL.
Columbus High School, the state champions, they were out here tonight, and John Jay was right in the middle of them. Columbus High grad, of course, a great Miami Hurricane.
Loves coming home, loves coming here to Miami. And you got a feeling when the Marlins see the Cardinals in mid-August, that average will be up a little bit.
Count stays 1-2. 3-time All-American at Miami. Dodgers are probably close to touching down here in South Florida. They beat the Cubs this afternoon 4-0. And the pitching that the Dodgers have lined up to face the Marlins coming up, pretty darn good. Brett Anderson, Clayton Kershaw, Zach Greinke.
So one of the few times, if not the first time, the Marlins will see back-to-back left-handers in Brett Anderson and then Kershaw. See the way Dan Herron's tried to work John Jay. He's really tried to bust him in. A lot of cutters. You can see that on Fox Tracks.
With Molina running, Echeverria behind the bag gets the out, and the inning is over. Cardinals got a run in the third, and that run is holding up 1-0. Price, service, selection, you're gonna love us. At Checkers, mix and match our famous Big Buford and Big Chicken Deluxe. Get 2 for $5. Checkers, it's in the bag. By Lexus of Pembroke Pines, price, service, selection, you're gonna love us. And by the Florida Department of Transportation, who remind you to drive sober or get pulled over. you'll love them both. How's that? Here's Christian Yelich. Yelich takes a strike. Marlins' second time look at Lance Lynn. Yelich, Stanton, and Bohr. Lynn has given up a bunt single, and that's it.
For whatever reason, Christian Yelich in 31 career at bats now against the Cardinals, hitting around 450. So he's hit this ball club pretty well. Sometimes you just match up against the club.
You know, I think it takes 4, 5, 6 years of a guy hitting a certain team for it to be significant. Because in this day and age, pitching staffs turn over, lineups turn over.
That's a good point.
I remember talking to Ty Wigginton, who always crushed the Marlins, and asked him why. How do you explain it? 2-2 pitch is fouled on. And his explanation was quite simple. And it was, he loved hitting at Dolphin Stadium. He said for whatever reason, he saw the ball, he saw the mound, he felt comfortable, and he said in that ballpark, he felt he could hit anybody. Man, Tommy, you were a hitter in the big leagues. That in that half the battle, just feeling
good.
Like you can.
There are times you stand in the batter's box and you just feel comfortable. It doesn't matter who's pitching. Everything feels good. The backdrop looks good. Then there are other times it's just the opposite.
Yelich to left. Grichuk is back, and he makes the catch. Dodgers on Saturday. Remember, a 4:10 start. Marlins and Dodgers, all you can eat seats, just $35. Get the new Giancarlo Stanton G Squad package for just $27. Includes a limited edition G Squad arm sleeve. Go to Marlins.com and secure your seats today.
Terrific matchup on Saturday. Tom Kohler, who missed one turn, will go up against Clayton Kershaw.
Stanton bounced out to the left side. Not this time. Sends it screaming up the middle. A base hit for Stanton, his 5th hit of this series.
I think we've really seen an interesting change, and you know, other teams will know this, advanced scouts. Last night, all 4 at bats he swung at the first pitch. 3 times he got hits, won the big home run. He did not swing at the first pitch in the 2nd inning, but he goes after the first pitch here and singles.
Here now is Justin Bohr. Stan's average very quietly is rising as well. He sits at 270. He was down in the 230s for the longest time, and Bohr's not happy with the home plate umpire Mark Carlson.
By the way, Rich, to your point about Ty Wigginton, at Sun Life, in over 100 at bats, 333, 10 doubles and 7 home runs.
Remember, Bohr was unhappy with that first pitch, and he's not happy with that one, and neither of them were strikes.
Well, sometimes you show your displeasure, and all of a sudden that guy in blue isn't on your side.
Stanton the runner at first. Let's see what Lynn does with a 1-2 pitch. Bohr fouls it out of play.
And frustrating for Justin Bohr, who continues to struggle. It's been a rough month of June, and when you struggle, it seems like every time there's a borderline pitch, you don't get it. When you're going good, you get the call.
Swing and a miss. 4 goes down on strikes.
It's a frustrating at bat for the big left-hander.
It'll get even more frustrating when he walks up to the video room and sees those 2 pitches. The fact that they were clearly out of the strike zone. It's the modern day world. Hitters do it on both sides. If there's a pitch or a sequence, even pitchers, they'll go in because they want to check, and umpires actually appreciate it that they do check. And a smart hitter will come up the next time and very quietly either tell the umpire, you know what, I was wrong, you were right, or hey, you missed it.
You missed it. You may want to check those after the game.
Yeah, but hey, you know, let's get back on the horse and go. But you're right, the emotions of a young hitter trying to get back on his feet. Ozuna sprays a ground ball to Colton Wong, and the Marlins are done. They leave Stanton at first. 4 in the books. 1-0 St. Louis. Geico presents this Marlin moment. 2013 Yankees and Rangers. Japanese starters Yu Darvish, Hiroki Kuroda received no decisions, and Ichiro hit a walk-off homer. What was John Sterling's call of an Ichiro homer?
I have a source that would be able to tell me.
I will work on it.
Give me a minute.
We'll work on that. 5th inning here. Dan Herron to Randall Grichuk. We talked about Grichuk. Rosenborg, Texas. 23-year-old, soon to be 24. Los Angeles Angels made him a first-round pick, and then included him in the deal for David Freese. Freese going from the Cardinals. Peter Borges actually, at the time the trade was made, was the bigger name.
He was a terrific outfielder, but not the hitter that Grichuk is. You know, you watch him play, and I was reading a little bit about him. You can see why his favorite players were Biggio and Bagwell. He's kind of out of that mold.
Fouls it at the plate. Grichuk, Cosma, and then Lance Lynn. Dan Herron tonight has had a very solid start. 4 innings, just 2 hits, a run, no walks, 5 strikeouts. Limited schedule in Major League Baseball.
A lot of games completed already.
We told you the Dodgers shut out the Cubs 4-0. Dodgers getting hot again. They're here tomorrow night. Yelich.
The Mets shut out the Brewers. Really terrific 8 innings from Jacob deGrom.
Jacob deGrom belongs on the National League All-Star team.
Might be the Mets representative.
I think the Mets will get more than just one.
Maybe Juris Familia.
His 20th save.
Yeah. No more than that.
Really? Your Mets insider
is telling me no more of those two. Not going to be Granderson, Lagares, Dudas, and a logjam. Too many first basemen.
Harvey isn't having the type of year. It's interesting. I heard John Smoltz today talk about the All-Star selections on MLB Network, and he said one thing about pitchers is they don't get to rest on their career, their laurels, or last year, because pitchers, since they're not subject to the vote of the fans, there's not as much carryover for, you know, a fan favorite or a guy that is coming off a Cy Young year.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Now you do have player votes that also vote on guys and can move a pitcher in, but not as a as a position player. You can only become a starter if you're voted on by the fans.
And the other thing too, Rich, you have with the pitchers, you have maybe guys who are going to throw on that Sunday and aren't able to throw in the game, so they may be bypassed for somebody. You may have an injury or two.
I like how they do it now, though. Those guys that can't pitch still are named All-Stars.
Yes, and they are able to take part in all the All-Star festivities.
Pete Kozma snapping an 0 for 21 with that hit. Lance Lynn, a successful sacrifice back in the third. And that's how it worked for the Cardinals in the third. Kozma was hit by a pitch. Lynn sacrificed him up. Colton Wong scored him on a double.
And Lance Lynn, the pitcher, no batting gloves.
Inspired by Matt Carpenter, Justin Bourne. Then tried to bunt, missed it. Goes as a strikeout. 6th strikeout for Heron. FIFA Women's World Cup quarterfinals. China. Team USA, win or go home, Tommy Hutton. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern on your local Fox station. Catch the whole tournament streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
I'm just going back the last 3 starts for Dan Heron. He lost 4-1 to the Rockies, so the Marlins got him 1 run. Remember his last outing in Cincinnati? The Marlins lost 5-0. They didn't get him anything. And so far here tonight, they've not given him any support.
Two 2-0 to Wong. Dangerous hitter. 15 doubles now. Driven in 33. Hit his 9th homer of the season last night. Everyone has a batting stance that's a little unique. Colton Wong's is open stance. He steps around and closes it, all while being crouched at the plate. Almost like he's sitting down on a stool. Remember Aaron Rowan of the Phillies.
Jeff Bagwell.
Jeff Bagwell.
But Carpenter, for the most part, a hard-nosed guy. He's on deck. Colton Wong has improved. And how about his introduction to Cardinal fans when he came in as a pinch runner in the postseason and was picked off to end the game?
Well, he redeemed himself last year. He had a great postseason. Runner goes. That one popped towards the seats. He had the game-winning homer in Game 3 of the NLDS. In the LCS, he had a walk-off homer against the Giants. In 5 games of that LCS, which the Cardinals lost to the Giants, he had 2 doubles, a triple, and 2 homers. And he smashes that one into right field, a base hit. Stanton picks it up. Cosma to third. And the throw right to the cutoff man, Justin Bour. He really has swung the bat well in this series, as Colton Wong.
He swung it pretty well, too, since being in that #1 spot. This is 33rd game hitting leadoff. Carpenter hit there for a while, but Matheny made a few changes, and he moved Colton Wong into that leadoff spot.
Now Matt Carpenter, a pair of strikeouts. Carpenter didn't like the work of Mark Carlson in the 3rd. Herron misses. It's 1-0.
We've talked about Dan Herron's consistency. He was 2-1 in April, 3-1 in May. In June, he's 1-2, but a nice 3.60 ERA. And as I mentioned, not a whole lot of support his last 3 outings. And all year, he's pitched well at home. 3-1, a 2.32 ERA at Marlins Park.
Two and one. Well, these are 2 hitters back to back that Herron has handled. Carpenter and Reynolds. Runner goes. Carpenter high fly ball right center. Ozuna and Stanton, and it's Ozuna parked under it who makes the catch. Still 1-0 St. Louis. In his 4th year as the skipper of the Cardinals. David Bell, first year as the bench coach. Toyota Trend, best record through June 24th. Tommy Hutton talked about what a historic start this was for the Cardinals. And yes, it is. 47-24. Their best start since 1944.
They are 26-7 at home.
Danny Echeverria, JT Realmuto, and Dan Herron. Echeverria bunt single. And cutting that chopper off is Carpenter, and he gets the out.
We are getting confirmation, Rich. We had the question earlier. You brought it up. What was the home run call? What was the home run call of John Sterling for Ichiro? And we're told Ichiro, the Yankees' rising sun, sayonara. Not one of John's best.
Realmuto takes outside. And Lynn misses up. Lance Lynn, sharp from the very start. It's 3-0. Lynn struck out 3, walked just 1.
I was reading today where the Phillies put Chase Utley with an ankle injury on the disabled list. Struggles have been galore for Utley, hitting just 179.
Had nothing to do with the squirrel that fell on his back the other day. South Florida Honda dealers, get you ready for the Dodgers tomorrow night. P-Dub in the house, as they say. Preston Wilson, Craig Minervini. Friday chat with Dan Jennings. And Justin Nicolino gets the ball for the 2nd time in the big leagues. The first time he was just outstanding in Cincinnati. Aaron's bunt, first base side. Reynolds picks it up and tags him out. Speaking of the Dodgers, their 3-game series with the Marlins finishes on Sunday. A 110 start, Pepsi 4 for 74 pack. It's Josh Beckett Day at the ballpark. Relive his greatest moments as a Marlin. First 10,000 fans get a replica 2003 World Series ring courtesy of Fox Sports Florida. Go to marlins.com today.
And Rich, you and I will get a chance to chat with Josh Beckett. He's going to come on the air with us. Probably the 3rd inning.
D. Gordon takes a strike. Marlins looking for a hit and a run. A chance to tie this ball game. Gordon has flied out and popped out. Time called. Realmuto runs pretty well. The outfield is not deep, especially in left with Grichuk or Jay in center. Hayward probably the deepest. He may have the best arm of the trio.
Yeah, you can play a little bit deeper when you have that kind of arm. Hayward, a 2-time Gold Glover in the outfield.
Gordon takes in. We check in with Craig.
Guys, D. Gordon has excelled in this 2-out scenario this year. Amazingly, it's the best mark since 1974 with anybody with 75 or more at bats with 2 outs. He's 35 for 77. Look at that clip, 455. And look at some of those names on there. Boggs, Walker, Carew, and former Marlin Jim Eisenreich.
It's That is quite a list.
Always a favorite, Jim Eisenreich.
Foul back to the screen. Eric Dietrich on deck. JT Realmuto on second. And Gordon goes after a high fastball and strikes out. Lance Lynn strands another. Realmuto left at second to the sixth. 1-0 Cardinals. And just 2 hits. Bring on the Cars. That's right. Chevron starters. Brett Anderson, a lefty. Justin Nicolino, a lefty. Nicolino makes his second major league start. 7 scoreless innings in Cincinnati. That's impressive. Anderson has a nice ERA. Makes start number 15. That's tomorrow. Marlins Live starts your night at 6:30. Here's Mark Reynolds. We told you that both starters have been sharp. They have been. Lance Lynn a little sharper than Dan Herron. Herron hit Pete Kozma in the third, gave up an RBI double to Colton Wong with 2 outs. Reynolds up in the 3 spot. Johnny Peralta was scratched just before game time. He was in the 3 spot to begin with. Pete Kozma playing short, Kozma hitting 8. So everybody else got promoted a spot up. Reynolds, Hayward, Molina, Jay, and Grichuk.
One of those times you have to make sure you check the lineup card. They don't hit out of place.
Aaron just misses up. Aaron, an Arizona Diamondback, and of course Mark Reynolds, Diamondback at that time as well. Boy, at the time you thought that Mark Reynolds was going to be a star in this league for a while. The numbers that he put up his first few years as a Diamondback were pretty eye-popping. And then he kind of slowed down. The strikeouts grew.
Well, he had that year in 09 with Arizona, 44 home runs, 102 RBIs.
Of course, that was the year he set the all-time record for strikeouts in a season. 223. But his bat has kept him around. He's also, a capable defensive player and pretty versatile now. To center, Ozuna sliding. Did he get it? Yeah! Marcell Ozuna.
Boy, that's a tough read, too, for an outfielder, because you have a guy who we've just been talking about who has a lot of power. So your initial reaction is to maybe go back. Good jump by Ozuna. Good reactions to come in and make that play on a ball hit softly, not all that hard, by Reynolds.
That replay was immediately shown up on the board in right center, and I think all managers in the game would appreciate it if teams would do that on a play like that, because Mike Matheny's first reaction is, all right, let's start the replay process. Let me go on the top step.
And once he sees that,
it's like, yeah, hey, I see it. Hayward lifts it, third base side. Dietrich after it, sliding, and can't make the catch. That is a difficult play. You're running at full speed with your back to the ball.
And just as you go down into that slide, the ball arrives. You got the fence there. Very difficult. Tough angle for a third baseman, too.
Hayward's hot. That's a foul ball. It's 0-2. 8-game hitting streak. 4 homers in his previous 7 games.
Yeah, the other thing on that play, look at how far Dietrich is off the line. So now you add that to where he had to go to try to get that pop fly.
Little tapper. And Herron gets the out at first. Here comes Yadier Molina.
I mean, Dan Herron right now is 6-4 on the year. With any support at all, he'd have 8 wins.
Molina to left. Yelich makes the catch, and Herron goes 1-2-3 with some help from Marcell Ozuna. On to the bottom of the 6th. And it'll bring you straight to the ballpark here at Marlins Park. Book this luxury motor coach for your group. Call 305-480-2523 or email groups@marlins.com. FanExpress.com. I was on 95 the other day, and the Fan Express was zipping in the express lane.
I always make sure I don't pass the Fan Express. Certainly exceed the speed limit. I have to be careful.
For the Marlins here in the bottom of the 6th, Derek Dietrich, Christian Yelich, Giancarlo Stanton. 2-3-4 in Miami's order. Dietrich takes out. Lance Lynn has been nails. Miami has just 2 hits. Stanton single in the 4th. Echeverria's bunt hit in the 3rd.
Yeah, we talked about how consistent Lance Lynn has been. His 3-year average. Last 3 years, he's averaged 16 wins. He's had a couple of 15-win seasons and an 18-win season.
Mike Goff, Miami's bench coach. Stanton waiting. That is strike 3 called. Dietrich goes down. And Lance Lynn continues to carve up Miami.
Strikeout number 5, and we talked about it at the very beginning of the game. How he moves the ball around, in and out, up and down. 80-85% fastballs, in a way somewhat like Bartolo Colon.
A little trimmer than Bartolo Colon.
Yes.
Lynn does,
and much younger.
Does tip the scales at about 255, 260.
But he's down. He's closer to 240. Remember, a few years ago, his weight was up there. But he's a little different look now.
Yelich takes in. He's sitting on a 3-1 pitch. Stanton awaits.
3-1 pitch with that guy on deck.
Yelich sends that one to left. Grichuk towards the line. He makes the catch. And here comes Stanton now. Stanton 1 for 2. Got sawed off on a ground ball in the 2nd, and then rolled a solid single into center field in the 4th. Now, is this one of those times that you see Molina's out there to counsel Lynn that they be very cautious with Stanton and then go after Bohr?
That's possible. I also think because they've seen Stanton be so aggressive and swing at so many first pitches, they may have talked about that as well.
Tried to hit the corner. It's 1-0. "27 home runs, 67 driven in." Molina setting up out. Lynn hitting the glove. It's 2-0.
The thing about Stanton even if you work him away, if you get any of the plate, we've seen Giancarlo. We know he has the power to drive a ball out here the opposite field.
He did that yesterday, but didn't quite get it out. A line drive off the top of the wall in right, and again, Lynn hitting the glove and the target out.
And obviously, we know now what that conversation was at the mound.
Stanton has to be ready, though, here. And that's way out. So they pitched around him. Stanton on his way to first. And we talked about that last night. You expect it to start happening more for two reasons. One, Stanton in the last 3 weeks has really tightened up his strike zone. Much more selective. Thus, the batting average is coming up. He's not chasing as much as he did in April and in May. And the other, and as you have pointed out, we've talked about, the guys around him are not hitting, so a team really would be foolish to challenge him at this point. And it's incumbent on Stanton to do what he just did, and that is not chase, take the walk, and get on base. Bohr takes a strike. And again, Bohr gets a pitch that is called a strike that is clearly out of the zone. Remember his last at bat, there were 2 pitches well out of the zone, and he ended up striking out. That one is strike 1.
You know, and some pitchers can't exploit that. But a guy with the control that Lynn has, boy, he can do that all night. In his mind, he's going to say, well, if Mark Carlson's going to continue to give me that pitch, I'll keep going there.
Lynn goes inside. It's 2-1.
This is where the Marlins would love to get that big hit and really burn the Cardinals for walking Giancarlo, and that's what they need to do following him, is get somebody hot.
Bohr takes down. It's 3-1. You got Ozuna on deck. So Bohr hasn't had one in the zone yet. Let's see if he gets a fastball to hit here. That's out, and Lynn walks Bohr. Cardinal bullpen starting to get busy. Derek Lilliquist on his way out. Seth Maness, the Marlins saw last night.
Well, remember, too, in the case of Lance Lynn, who's at 88 pitches now, remember he's coming off the disabled list with some forearm issues, forearm strain. I don't think they had, in talking to some of their guys, they don't have a hard pitch count on him, but they certainly are going to keep an eye on him. And this is probably the most stressful he's had in this inning.
Now Ozuna. On an 0-for-2 night, where the Marlins have just 2 hits, a pair of 2-out walks. Somewhat intentional to Stanton, certainly unintentional to Bohr. And Lynn tries to dial it back in. And he gets the corner.
Last year, Marcell Ozuna, 23 home runs, 85 RBIs. 4 home runs this year, 26 RBIs.
Molina's throw Reynolds back. Of course, Molina, one of the top catchers in picking off runners.
It's always a prearranged play. The first baseman or the catcher may put the sign on.
Ozuna didn't like that. He was looking out. Remember, the first pitch was a called strike on the outside corner.
Yeah, he was leaning.
And unfortunately, Fox tracks on that pitch misfired in the truck. Ozuna swings and misses and strikes out, and the Marlins leave 2 more. The frustrations mount for Miami tonight. 1-0 Cardinals.
Nothing. We move to the 7th. You look at Jose Urena, who will be pitching. We'll let you know when in just a sec. First, the Marlins did make a little news today, as expected. Jared Cozart is back, but he'll go to the bullpen at least at first, although Dan Jennings said we may ease him back into the rotation. But Vin Mazzaro designated for assignment. More moves to come, with Jose Fernandez due back next Thursday. But Cozart, last appearance May 13th, said, hey, I'm a starter, but I'll do whatever I can to help out the ball club. But obviously, with all these arms, they're going to have to figure out where they're going to go with Phelps, Cozart, and maybe even Kohler, although we don't know yet. The odd men out, Kohler pitching Saturday night. As for Jose Urena, he's going to get another start on Sunday, and Dan Jennings said until somebody knocks him out, he's deserved the shot. He's had 5 quality starts in a row for Miami. Pretty solid so far. Nicolino, as you know, goes tomorrow. Jose Fernandez will pitch Saturday in Jacksonville. He said he's learned a lot about his patience over this, especially in the last few months, and it's just because of the doctor. He said, I'm ready to go right now, but I'm going to go with the doctor. Doctor says one more rehab start. That's the way it'll be, and he'll be back on Thursday. And the other note for the Marlins, Michael Morse is playing tonight in New Orleans. He's 0 for 1. He's batting cleanup at first base, and I do expect him to be back if everything goes well tonight, and that means from the health standpoint, I think he'll be back tomorrow, maybe even in the starting lineup tomorrow night against the Dodgers.
Yeah, he got a lefty on the mound. It's a good landing spot for him. That one dumped into left center field off the bat of John Jay, and it's a hit.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, you have back-to-back lefties with Anderson and then Kershaw. So the hard hit balls last night from John Jay, he gets one of those back with a bloop base hit.
Martin Prado, on the other hand,
it's a little different story. Martin is eligible to come off, I believe, the end of the week or the first day of that Giants series, but he hasn't done any baseball activities yet. So he's still just kind of running. He hasn't taken BP, he hasn't thrown.
Sprained right shoulder.
Shoulder taking a little longer, I think, than expected.
Grichuk has bounced out, popped out. Cardinals have just 5 hits. Miami has just 2. And the Colton Wong RBI double in the 3rd. The difference in the game. Liner to left. Grichuk with a hit. Jay with an aggressive turn. Yelich's throw is cut. And St. Louis is in business now near the bottom of their order. Pete Kozma and then the pitcher. Steve Cishek and Mike Dunn are in the bullpen. Now, Lance Lynn is due up next, but as you pointed out, a stressful inning. He's coming off the strain of the forearm. And so you would think that the Cardinals are in a position to bunt here and then go to a pinch hitter. Looks like Xavier Scruggs is on deck.
Yeah, you kind of had the feeling that that was going to be all for Lance Lynn, especially with him coming off the DL.
Kozma snapped an 0 for 21 with a single in the 5th. He squares and bunts it foul. Cardinals bullpen. Derek Dietrich better be a little careful there. He came in early, and the runner at second, John Jay, had a big lead. And I think word coming from the Marlin dugout just to take it a little slower. Striking, it's 0-2. Tommy pointed out the struggles with runners in scoring position, not just in this series, but over the last 7 to 10 days for Miami.
Well, the Marlins 0 for 5 tonight, and you see the struggles just in this series.
Kozma gets the bunt down. Real Muto fires, safe. Ball gets loose. Coming home and scoring is Jay. Pete Kozma with 2 strikes got the bunt down.
I think JT may have taken a little longer time than he should have, and then tried to uncork a really hard throw, and the throw looked like it tied up D. Gordon. Maybe underestimating the speed of Kozma.
I think he's safe even if he catches the ball.
To Kozma's credit, it's an excellent bunt, and it's going to be a sacrifice, and then the error charged to D. Gordon. So D tonight has made a couple of errors in this one.
Dan Jennings on his way out, and for Dan Herron, this is a tough way to leave this game. Did so well. Gives up a couple of hits, an error, and now it's 2-0 St. Louis. Kendall Toyota called to the pen. tonight. It's 2-0. Cardinals on top. Once again, the Marlins don't score a run for Herron, and they haven't supported him defensively tonight. Mike Dunn takes over. Runners first and second. And nobody out.
And remember, we saw Scruggs in the on-deck circle. A little different situation now with the sacrifice, with the error. So it's going to be a left-handed bat. Greg Garcia. Ichiro comes in a double switch. He'll play center field. Christian Yelich will stay in left, and Stanton stays in right. So Ichiro hits ninth, and Mike Dunn hits in Ozuna's spot.
Garcia's bunt. Dunn looks, throws too late. My goodness.
Somebody has to let him know there wasn't a play at any base except first. And somebody has to let him know.
So 2 bunts, and the Marlins can't get an out on either.
There's no play at third, certainly no play at second. But then again, let's see if D. Gordon was over there at first in time. I'm not sure.
Bags loaded, Colton Wong. Nobody out. And Dunn misses away.
Yeah, D. Gordon was there. He was there for the throw. He just didn't get it in time. They've actually ruled that a base hit.
Dunn gets a strike. You know, Wong has been a dangerous hitter these last 2 nights. Last night, 2-run homer and a single. Tonight, RBI double and a single. Infield is in. And Wong fouls it off. Cardinal at every base. Grichuk, Cosma, Garcia.
It's one thing, Rich, to not score, to struggle offensively. That happens. Things come and go. It's another thing to not make plays and not get outs when the other team's trying to give you outs.
Wong lines that one foul. Count stays at 2-2. It's down low. Full count now, 3-2. Fouled at the plate. How often in Major League history have you had back-to-back hitters out of the University of Hawaii with Garcia, who came in getting that bunt, and Wong?
You have to check the record. Let's see. Victorino, was he out of the University of Hawaii or just from Hawaii?
I think he was just from Hawaii. I don't think he went to college.
Yeah, I think he was just from Hawaii.
Wong turns and sends that one deep, but foul. Yes.
Have to check on Benny Agbayani. Sid Fernandez. I think Sid was right out of high school too.
Another 3-2 to Wong. And he took it. That's ball 4, and it's 3-0. Quite an at bat by Wong, who fought off a bunch of 2-strike pitches, a 9-pitch at bat. Wong gets another RBI.
Well, the bottom line, Christmas has come early for the Cardinals in this inning. The Marlins have unwrapped a lot of gifts for them.
Carpenter takes outside, and if there's a team that you just can't do that against, it's the St. Louis Cardinals. Not sure what's going on there. Carpenter looking back into the Cardinal dugout. Big numbers with the bags loaded for Carpenter. And right now, Mike Dunn having trouble finding the strike zone. Pair of base hits opened the inning.
I always say when you see a guy that's had consistent good numbers with bases loaded, it's usually a guy who has a good knowledge of the strike zone. He's not over anxious, waits for his pitches.
High pop. Strike, and it's 2-1. Dan Herron started the inning. John Jay, Randall Grichuk with solid base hits. Then a bunt out in front of the plate. JT Realmuto fielded his throw to first. Looked like it would be late. Cosma arriving with the ball. D. Gordon couldn't handle the throw. Gordon was charged with an error. John Jay scored on that. Another bunt. Mike Dunn was late throwing to first. That one fouled back to the screen. That loaded him up. Colton Wong with 2 strikes fought off some good pitches, and then Dunn walked him to walk in a run. And you've got Reynolds and Hayward right around the bend.
They have some big boppers. Not that Carpenter isn't, with 8 home runs.
Here comes a 2-2. And Carpenter swings and misses. Pitch by Mike Dunn.
Made some good pitches with fastballs, and then finally got Carpenter with a slider. Got him to chase that slider out of the zone.
Good tight slider. Dan Jennings on his way out. Mike Dunn exits. 3-0 Cardinals. Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen. Marlin action, half price with the Miami Herald Half Price Tuesday. Next Half Price Tuesday, the Giants are here. 7:10 start. Get the half price Lexus Legends Platinum tickets for great discounts on tickets in several other categories. Marlins.com, the place to go. Right now, for Miami, the St. Louis Cardinals have stretched their lead. Steve Cishek in the ballgame. You see, for Cishek, it's been a nightmarish year. He has started to get it back together. And his assignment with the bags loaded and one out in a 3-0 game, 2 runs here in the 7th, is to get Mark Reynolds and go from there. Shallow right, Gordon on his way out, Stanton on his way in. It's Gordon who makes the catch. Runner tags, coming home, throw home on a hop. The tag safe. Good slide by Cosma to get around Real Muto's tag.
Not too often you see a sac fly to an infielder, but if you're a runner and you see that infielder moving away from the plate, you go ahead and take the chance. Cosma has a little speed. A great effort by D. Gordon to catch the ball and then come up and make the throw, knowing that Cosma was probably going to tag. The throw a little bit up the line.
There was no argument by JT Real Muto.
Boy, he just missed him.
The Marlins are looking at the replay. Nothing we've seen would indicate that he tagged him. It's going to go as a sacrifice fly to the second baseman. But you're right about D. Gordon. Not much you can do. The Marlins are going to walk Hayward and pitch to Molina.
You know, the other unfortunate thing about this whole inning is that all 3 of those runs charged to the line of Dan Herron.
Two bunt plays in the inning, neither of which the Marlins were able to execute and get an out. Neither bunt was extraordinarily good. And it costs Herron, it costs Dunn, and obviously it costs Miami. Bags loaded, 2 outs. And here's Molina.
Here's that play one more time to try to see if Giancarlo could have gotten there. I'm not sure he could have, and you know what? Even if he did, his momentum would have been going toward the line a little bit. So it was just in the right spot for the Cardinals. Every once in a while, you'll see an infielder make a catch like that and flip it to the outfielder. And all of a sudden, the outfielder who has a little more momentum going the other way makes the throw.
Cishek, little ground ball, picks it up, fires the first in time to get Molina. But a nightmarish inning for the Fish. The Cardinals lead it 4-0. frustrating night for Miami. The Cardinals trying to sweep the Fish in 3. Have a 4-0 lead in the bottom of the 7th. And it's into the bullpen for St. Louis after 6 innings, 6 very nice innings by Lance Lynn.
Boy, 35-year-old we've seen with many different teams over the years. Rich, Matt Belisle. Last few years with the Rockies. So you pitch 5 years, 5.5 years in Denver, half your games. You know how to pitch a little bit.
There's been a scoring change on the first bunt play in the 7th inning. Instead of a sacrifice, Pete Kozma gets a hit. I would expect the error stays for D. Gordon on the throw that was dropped. That allowed Jay to score. Echeverria up the middle. A big hop there, and Wong gets Echeverria.
The Cardinals, after this game, they head home and take on the Cubs tomorrow night. There's that lefty specialist, Randy Choate.
Real Muto's bounced out and walked. Ichiro came in the double switch. On deck. One and 2. Lance Lynn in line to win this ball game. If you look at Miami's season in a snapshot, one of the issues has been getting swept in a series and not being able to at least get one game of a series. There have been some painful sweeps this year.
Boy, it all started in April. It all started at the beginning of the season. The Atlanta Braves opened the season sweeping the Marlins in three straight. Then that 4-game sweep in New York.
That was a strike. It's been a rough ride for Mark Carlson for both sides. Up the middle, Kozma spinning. Nice play by the Cardinal shortstop. Pete Kozma robs JT Real Muto of a hit.
What a night Pete Kozma's having. A couple of base hits. He scored twice. There's some range that Peralta probably doesn't have and make that play, but Kozma with a beautiful play to rob JT Real Muto.
Two outs. Here's Ichiro. Of course, Ichiro is next up on the hit list, 2,886. Colton Wong.
Wow.
Just got him. Nice play by the middle infield. Wong had a couple. Kozma the other. It's still 4-0 Cardinals.
Well, in the third inning, it was Colton Wong with a double that brought home Pete Kozma. Remember, he was hit by a pitch that put him on base. And the Cardinals play a little small ball. That guy, Kozma, again, this is ruled a base hit. He beats the throw. The throw is dropped, and another run is scored. So an error charge to D. Gordon. A bases loaded walk to Wong. Brings in another run. Wong having a nice night. A couple of hits. A couple of RBIs. A shallow sac fly. Heads up base running. D. Gordon makes the catch. But runner comes in to score. Pete Kozma with a great slide. And a little small ball working for the Cardinals in the 7th inning. They scored 3 in that inning, and that's how it stands. 4-0 St. Louis.
Steve Cishek finished off the top of the 7th. Pitches at top of the 8th. Gets a strike on John Jay. Cishek misses in. Caught part of the plate. Yelich is there, and he makes the catch. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, celebrating 13 years. Every out-of-market regular season game live or in demand. Highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Blackout, other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Every night on every device. Strike to Randall Grichuk. 1 for 3. Just 2 other games going right now in the big leagues tonight. Houston at home against the Yankees. The Astros, really a great story and a big surprise. 10 over. Have a 2-0 lead over New York, bottom 5. It's disco night in Pittsburgh. Anthony DeSclafani pitching. Pittsburgh has a 3-2 lead, bottom 4. That one fouled out of play. So lots of finals. The Mets beat Milwaukee 2-0. Jacob deGrom with an ERA of 2.15 gets the win. He's 8-5. The Nationals have an incredible scoreless streak going. They shut out Atlanta 7-0. Doug Fister doing the bulk of the work. A 7-0 win over Atlanta. 41 1/3 scoreless innings. It's a franchise record. Breaks the old Montreal Expo record. Is that going to stay fair? Looks like it. Oh! It stays fair. Randall Grichuk has himself a hit.
They get to that point of no return. You have to just let it go. Ball hit on the line and then came back a little bit. At this point, you're not going to throw Grichuk out. So now you hope, well, maybe it's going to go foul. Came back, looked like it hit the grass a little bit. So there's your hope.
Where is Lenny Randall when you need him? Runner goes, pitches out. Real Muto's throw skips off the mound. And it's been a tough night all around for the Fish defensively.
Well, they're getting outplayed by a better team, the bottom line. The Cardinals do the little things. They've had opportunities where they've gotten good jumps. So Real Muto tries to rush the throw. They've played little ball. When they've had to, they've dropped down bunts.
Pete Kozma.
That's why they're 47-24.
23 games over. Kozma finds center field. And Grichuk around third. He will score. Big night for Pete Kozma. That's his 3rd hit. This is a guy who was 0 for 21. 0 for his last 21 coming into the game. Good fastball. Cosma got enough of it to land it in center field.
He came into the game with an .093 batting average, and he has a 3-hit night.
Peter Borges.
Did you see, Rich, where a couple of former Marlins appeared in big league games last night? Andrew Heaney. Remember Andrew, the young lefty, traded to the Dodgers. They flipped him to the Angels. Threw a good ball game. No decision, but 6 innings, 4 hits, a run. And Chris Volstad is back in the big leagues. Pitched a couple of innings for the Pirates last night. Volstad had been in AAA with Pittsburgh, but had spent some time last year. He pitched in the Korean Baseball League.
Cishek trying to catch the corner, and it's 2-2. Borges, we talked about the trade. David Freese. Certainly could not have been an easy one for John Mozeliak, fine vice president, GM of the Cardinals, to make. Freese, of course, the hometown kid and a World Series hero. Swing and a miss.
Yeah, it's one of those tough ones.
As it turns out, they get not only Borges, but Grichuk in it. Cardinals and Matt Carpenter, they wanted to plug in at third base. That's worked out pretty well for him. Cole Wong now, busy night for him. RBI double, a single, bases loaded walk.
Yeah, he really started things in the third inning with a 2-base hit that drove home Cosma. Cosma had reached being hit by a pitch.
Pitch is out. You talked about the tough luck of Dan Herron, how the 2 bunts that were misplayed ended up on his line. The scoring change also affects an earned run. It gave Cosma a bunt single instead of a sacrifice. Swing and a miss. So all 4 runs to Herron, and all 4 are earned. Cardinals add another here, and it's 5-0. Bullpen has been solid throughout this series. And Choate having his usual effective season. Wow, this is his 34th appearance. We talked about it earlier. No lefty has made more appearances in baseball than Randy Choate since, I believe it was 2009. Yep, 2009. 438th appearance since 09.
A couple of things we talked about in between innings with all the lefties due up. It makes for an easy decision for Mike Matheny. D. Gordon, Dietrich, then Yelich. That's one of the reasons the other night Dan Jennings had Real Muto in the number 2 spot, just to kind of break up the left-handers. But right now, not a whole lot of the moves are working.
Gordon up the middle. There's a base hit. D. Gordon leads off the 8th with a single to center, extends his hit streak to 7 straight. Now the Marlins are going to bring Donovan Solano in, and we'll see how Mike Matheny plays this. If he brings in the righty to face Solano, then he's lost Choate for the Yelich at bat.
I think with the score being what it is, he'll stay with Choate.
Manus is up, and obviously Stanton is on his mind. Choate with a little sidearm, almost a quick pitch motion.
It's interesting, even though Derek Dietrich singled off Choate last night.
Sweeping breaking ball misses, 1-1. Even though Choate is a lefty specialist, he can still get some right-handers out. One-two to Solano. Hayward towards the line, makes the catch. And here comes Yelich. Yelich, a nice turn in the chair with Chris Rose and Kevin Millar on Intentional Talk on MLB Network. There, Choate splits and can still get righties out in his career. 286. But Yelich, some nice exposure today. Also, Hugo the barber getting a little run.
He cleaned up Millar a little bit.
That's not easy to do. Although I will say this, Kevin Millar on Marlins Live, sitting between his old teammate Preston Wilson and Craig Minervini, was alive and really entertaining, with a lot of Marlin history rolling off the tongue.
He gave Minervini a run for words per minute too. That would be a good race. Craig Minervini and Kevin Millar.
Choate gets one, and that's it. That should be the end of Choate, with Stanton coming up. Checkers brings you Marlins Live post game highlights from tonight. Reaction from former Cardinal Preston Wilson, former Cardinal world champion Preston Wilson, right? That's right. Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen. Nothing lead. Giancarlo Stanton will get Seth Maness with a runner at first and 2 outs here in the 8th. Maness, who came on and pitched last night, finished the ball game an inning and a third. Stanton saw him in the 9th and singled against him, hit a smash into right center field on the first pitch. Takes a strike, and it's 0-1.
Probably didn't think he'd get another first pitch fastball.
Almost got hit on that one. That's a ball and a strike. Stanton was walked in the 6th, singled in the 4th, bounced to 3rd in the 2nd. And he's going to need a new bat after that.
Cardinals have pitched him in pretty well tonight. Remember the sawed-off foul ball earlier in the game.
One and two.
They're going back in there again.
Challenge for Stanton. Trying not to do too much. Something he really fought in April and May. And a swing and a miss. Maness gets the strikeout. Stanton goes down. Marlins leave a runner. 8 innings have passed. It's 5-0 Cardinals. by Florida Coast Equipment, Florida's largest Kubota dealer. Visit us at FloridaCoastEQ.com. And by Coral Springs Auto Mall, across from the Coral Springs Mall. We'll make it easy. 5-0 St. Louis, ninth inning. And the Marlins in danger of getting swept by the Cardinals to open up this homestand. A.J. Ramos out of the pen, needing some work to stay sharp. Miami's closer will enter here in the ninth. The Dodgers are hot. They're here tomorrow night. The Giants are playing well. The Giants are here next Tuesday. And the Marlins hit the road. They go to Chicago for the Cubs and Boston for the Red Sox. Donovan Solano, pinch hit for Derek Dietrich, stays in the ballgame.
So an opportunity for A.J. Ramos to get some work. And he'll get some tough hitters here in the ninth inning.
Matt Carpenter, uncharacteristic, 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. And he fouls it off.
You know, they think so much of Matt Carpenter. Cardinals locked him into a 6-year deal. Runs through 2019.
And the bullpen, Carlos Villanueva. Ramos, good changeup. It's 1-2. Dodgers tomorrow night. Justin Nicolino, second major league start. Brett Anderson for the Dodgers. Tom Kohler is slated to go Saturday afternoon. That's a 4:10 start. Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers. And then Zach Greinke, whose ERA is a minuscule 1.70. On Sunday, the Marlins have yet to announce their starter on Sunday. There's a 2-2.
And I think, Rich, it'll be interesting to see how Justin Nicolino performs after his major league debut. 7 shutout innings in Cincinnati. Certainly going up against another good hitting lineup, the Dodgers.
Three-two. This is out. Carpenter walks. Jose Urena, in all likelihood, gets the start on Sunday if things stay the same. And Jennings giving him a vote of confidence today.
Well, I think he's earned that with the way he's pitched.
Now Reynolds. Cardinals doing this tonight without their probable all-star shortstop, Johnny Peralta. Seems to be the leading vote getter and have the momentum. Peralta scratched right before game time. And of course, as we've noted throughout this series, they're also doing it without Matt Holliday, Matt Adams. Reynolds to center. That's Ichiro out there.
When you have top players, key players that are out, it gives others opportunities to step up. We've talked about Randall Grichuk. He has stepped up. Guys like Jaime Garcia and Carlos Martinez have picked up without an Adam Wainwright. Michael Wacha having a solid year. they've kind of mixed and matched at first base.
Bohr, Echeverria's turn. Ramos is there. Got him. And look at the stretch by Ramos. Let's hope he's okay. AJ looking every bit the first baseman. Nice play by Bohr, Echeverria, and Ramos. Progress against the first, Lance Lynn, and then a variety of Cardinal relievers. Matt Belisle, Randy Choate, Seth Maness. Carlos Villanueva is the next man up for St. Louis.
If the Marlins are shut out here, it'll be the second time within a week. And I go back to that second Yankee game here at Marlins Park where the Marlins scored 12 times. If the Marlins don't score here tonight, they will have scored 16 runs in the last 8 games since that game.
One man cannot do it alone. Justin Bohr takes out, and it's 2-0. Jeff Baker is on deck. That's the pitcher spot. Then Adeiny Echeverria. Bohr takes a strike. Bohr, right center field. Jay is there. And he makes the catch. Well, earlier we were talking about Giancarlo Stanton and the month that he's had. I mean, the month of June was big. The issue is trying to get help from around him. 44% of Miami's home runs. He's driven in 26% of their runs. And right now, this ball club is in danger of falling 14 under 500.
Well, and you go back last 8 games now, 6 for 52 with runners in scoring position.
Baker to right. Hayward is in, and he makes the catch. Here is Adeiny Echeverria.
And you can try all you want with different lineup changes, but if guys don't perform, it doesn't matter where they're hitting. I think with the back-to-back lefties that the Marlins will see in the first 2 games of that series against the Dodgers. I mean, we could see Echeverria in the number 2 spot, up a little bit in the lineup.
It's deep to left and down the line, and Echeverria has hit it out off the foul pole. Miami gets its first run, and Danny Echeverria gets his 4th home run. Couple hits for Echeverria, half of Miami's total tonight.
Boy, jumps on a pitch that was belled high, and for a minute you thought it might hook foul. But Echeverria stayed back, stayed with his hands in enough, and right off the pole.
Real Muto, a liner, and a diving catch by Reynolds seals the sweep for the Cardinals. Carlos Villanueva gives up an Echeverria homer, and that for Miami is their lone run of the night. They fall to the Cardinals tonight 5-1 in the series. The Cardinals win all 3 games. Pete Kozma wasn't in the starting lineup until right before game time, and it turned out all right for Kozma and the Cards. Marlins Live is next.